And now we will begin our question and answer period, 5 minutes per member. I will ask a series of questions. Dr. Shah, you won't have time to answer, but I respectfully request if I could get a written response to these, that would be wonderful. On Haiti, the President's fiscal year 2013 budget allocates nearly $350 million in new assistance funds for Haiti. The recent resignation of the Haitian Prime Minister and the absence of the Interim Haiti Recovery Commission raises serious concerns about what oversight mechanisms are being employed to guarantee accountability of U.S. taxpayer dollars. So if you could respond in written form, what action is the U.S. government undertaking in order to ensure proper transparency of assistance funds to Haiti? On funding for the Palestinian Authority, Dr. Shah, the administration is pressing Congress to release $147 million for Palestinians in the West Bank and Gaza. Among the arguments utilized is that Abu Mazen needs to be supported because he's all we have. However, the administration is not demanding that Abu Mazen return to the negotiation table with Israel without preconditions, nor that he stops his unilateral statehood scheme at the UN. The administration also says we need to help rebuild the Palestinian economy, this at a time when our economy is facing serious challenges and Americans are suffering. Now, in the list of projects the administration wants to fund with $147 million in taxpayer dollars, there are some that are aimed at addressing humanitarian concerns, funding for water programs, health, food aid, and support for USAID programming. Congress and the administration can't find common ground on these. However, there are others that Congress finds difficult to justify as advancing U.S. national security interests or in assisting our ally and friend Israel. In this respect, if you could justify $2.9 million for trade facilitation, $4.5 million for tourism promotion, and $8.1 million for road construction. Specifically, I would ask that you justify a total of $26.4 million in reconstruction and recovery for Hamas-run Gaza that includes cash for work programs. And more broadly, how much has the U.S. spent in total since 1993 in West Bank and Gaza, and how much is the administration proposing we spend next year, and how can we justify that? Turning to Egypt, if you could respond to what mechanisms you have developed to ensure that U.S. assistance to Egypt does not directly or indirectly provide support or otherwise is influenced by the Ministry for International Cooperation and Development. And what is the justification for the provision of any U.S. assistance to an Egyptian government potentially dominated by the Muslim Brotherhood or affiliated extremists? Do you agree that no U.S. assistance should be provided directly or indirectly to the Muslim Brotherhood and affiliated extremists? And lastly, to my native homeland of Cuba, and Mr. Sears well spoke of that. The Obama administration has had a policy of concession toward the Castro brothers, but it has not yielded any measurable change for democracy, and I'm deeply concerned about the Department of State and USAID's growing funding for programs that promote the Castro brothers' sham economic reforms at the expense of funding for important programs that do support Cuba's political prisoners and the growing internal opposition. Though this administration likes to point to Castro's so-called economic reforms as a sign of change, the fact remains that 11 million Cubans continue to suffer under brutal conditions with the repressive Castro regime, and this new focus on economic reforms will do nothing more than validate the Castro regime and promote their radical anti-American propaganda. And so my question is, how does harnessing U.S. foreign assistance to promote the Castro brothers' sham economic reforms build the capacity for the internal opposition, and how can we prioritize the funding for Cuba to strive for a free and democratic Cuba by, again, funding the pro-democracy programs there on the island. So I thank you, Dr. Shah, for that written response whenever you get to it. Thank you so much, sir. And now I'd like to turn to Mr. Berman.